coming up on News 11. A Tonawanda teen receives a life-saving transplant, the FAA emergency order has come to an end, and the Chile presidential election has gone into runoffs. All of this and more, News 11 starts right now. Good evening and welcome back to News 11. I'm Sam Falone.
And I'm Jenna Polito.
We have a lot of exciting stories to cover, so let's get started with your local news. This past Sunday, on November 9th, SUNY Fredonia held their annual fall sweep. London Nikolai was there to give us an update.
Student groups are coming together in the Williams Center at SUNY Fredonia. Very soon, they'll take to the streets to celebrate a campus tradition.
Every November, rain or shine, student groups come from SUNY Fredonia to provide for their local community. Isn't that right, fellas?
Yeah! For many, this brings unity between the local college community and the rest of the town.
It's truly a benefit to the elderly, infirm, those who are working multiple jobs or for some reason don't have a chance to take care of the yards. Helps make this town look as beautiful as it truly is.
And some students are just attending for the first time.
This is my first year here, so this has been a good chance for me to get out in the community and just help out and give back.
Attending the event for his final year is senior student Matt Volt.
People have different circumstances. There might be a family that's got young kids that we can rake together a pile of leaves so the kids can jump in, or we've got, somebody who's maybe not able to go out and rake their lawn and we can do it for them. Just being able to make that difference in the community, I think, is really special, and for our clubs individually too, it's a really cool bonding opportunity.
And that's a sweep on this year's event. Regardless of the weather, students showed up and showed out to give back to Fredonia. This is London Nikolai, News 11.
SUNY Fredonia alum Randy Merrill was nominated for the upcoming 2026 Grammy Awards. The Jamestown native was the mastering engineer for 2 Grammy nominees for Record of the Year, which include Lady Gaga's song Abracadabra and Chappell Roan's song The Subway. He was also part of Lady Gaga's album Mayhem, which was nominated for Album of the Year. Merrill studied Fredonia's sound recording technology program back in 1997 and has had 33 nominations and 9 Grammy wins. The Grammy Awards are going to be held February 1st, 2026 and will be streamed on Paramount+. We wish the best of luck to Randy Merrill and the team that took part in these wonderful creations.
The CHQ Chamber has recently moved its office to now be located in Dunkirk. The office, which was formerly located in Jamestown Community College Training Center, has since been sold, and they now reside in the SUNY Fredonia Center for Innovation and Economic Development, CEID, at 214 Central Avenue. The CHQ has thanked Jamestown for their hospitality over the years and is now looking forward to being in the heart of Dunkirk to further their relationships and businesses and organizations of all types and sizes. The CEID, formerly known as the SUNY Fredonia Technology Incubator, was designed to be a launchpad for entrepreneurs and small businesses. President and CEO of CHQ Chamber, Daniel Heisenrader, commented on their move, saying, quote, "This office is not only conveniently located for our members, but also adjacent to many of our partner organizations, including offices for the County of Chautauqua Industrial Development Agency and the Chautauqua County of Partnership for Economic Growth. This place is for entrepreneurs, and that perfectly aligns with the mission of the CHQ Chamber to build vital connections, provide professional resources, and champion our local businesses," end quote.
On October 1st, the Chautauqua Harbor Hotel was met with a swarm of over 80 4-H educators for a statewide education conference. Educators as far as New York City were invited by New York State's Association of Cornell Cooperative Extensions, for a conference. During the conference, they discussed research on informal education, learned about leadership, discussed volunteer roles, research techniques, and more. While staying at the Chautauqua Harbor Hotel, the educators had visited restaurants, institutions, and other tourist attractions, such as the National Comedy Center. One topic they discussed was authentic leadership, where honesty, empathy, and love helps create change and growth in organizations. At the end of the conference, Dr. Jim Lamoni addresses Servin, where Lamoni claims that, quote, "No one works hard because they are forced to," end quote. Hopefully, after this 4-H conference, educators will continue to help grow and support this community across the state.
A child has been killed after being struck by a school bus near Fletcher Elementary in Jamestown. The police shut down Cole Avenue near the school to conduct their investigation, and the school canceled their parent-teacher conferences for that day. Panama Central School officials released a statement around noon on Monday saying, quote, "The bus was on the way to drop off one of our students for an out-of-district placement at the time. Neither the student on the bus nor the driver were injured," end quote. This was indeed an accident, but due to ongoing police investigations, not much information has been released at this time.
A raid on Palmer Street in Jamestown on Thursday afternoon resulted in 3 people facing charges. Members of the Jamestown Metro and Southern Tier Regional Drug Task Forces executed a search warrant at an apartment on Palmer Street after an investigation into the sale of narcotics. The SWAT team from the Jamestown Police Department entered the building and found 33-year-old Jamal Jackson and escape out the second-story window, as well as 30-year-old Christopher Bauman and Jamar Cunningham inside. All 3 were transported to the Jamestown City Jail and were charged for the criminal possession of a controlled substances and criminal use of drug paraphernalia. Any information about criminal or drug activity is encouraged to call the Chautauqua County Sheriff's Office's tip line at 800-344-8702 or the Jamestown Police Department tip line at 716-483-8477.
17-year-old Meredith Roberts of North Tonawanda received a life-saving liver transplant just several days ago. Roberts had no previous history with her liver health but was rushed to the hospital last week with acute liver failure. She tested positive for Wilson's disease, a rare condition that causes copper buildup in the body. The search immediately began for a new liver for Meredith. The doctor was happy to inform the Roberts family that the first cadaver liver that became available was a perfect match for Meredith. The Roberts family has expressed their deep gratitude for all the support they have received in this time. Meredith is on the road to recovery, and she says she cannot wait to getting back to doing the things that she loves.
The Buffalo Bills and Hallmark actors have teamed up this past Monday to pack 600 Thanksgiving totes and turkeys for families around Western New York. This annual event, known as the Thanksgiving Blitz, partners the Buffalo Bills with Feed More WNY to provide Thanksgiving feasts for those in need. This year, Matthew Daddario and Holland Roden, star of Hallmark's new movie, Holiday Touchdown, A Bill's Love Story, joined the tote assembling, helping to package holiday meals with turkeys, pies, and all the fixings for a Thanksgiving feast. Catherine Schick of Feed More Western New York emphasized the importance of both the volunteers and the event itself, saying, quote, "These holiday totes will include everything needed to make a wonderful holiday meal, so families experiencing food insecurity can come together, make memories, and not have to worry," end quote. Schick added that the partnership with organizations is what makes this possible to provide over 5,000 meals across Western New York. The Hallmark actors said that working alongside the Bills has become a memorable and unique experience, adding, quote, "The Buffalo Bills are incredibly charitable and one of the nicest organizations we have ever come across. The Hallmark team is incredibly impressed, and we all became Bills fans as a result," end quote. Holiday Touchdown, A Bill's Love Story, airs this Saturday, November 22nd on the Hallmark Channel. And when we return, we will have your national stories. We'll be right back.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
According to United States Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy and FAA Administrator Brian Bedford, the flight reductions at 40 airports mandated by the Federal Aviation Administration earlier in the month came to an end Monday morning. The cuts began on November 7th, resulting in thousands of flight delays and cancellations across the country, and a reduction in air traffic capacity by at least 4% at major airports. A Sunday statement said, quote, "The flight reduction emergency order will be terminated on Monday, November 17th at 6 a.m., end quote. The mass of flight disruptions began to decrease after President Donald Trump signed a bill to reopen the government last week, after the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. According to Bedford, the staffing issues at air traffic control centers is also beginning to be resolved. On Sunday, only one staffing issue was recorded by the FAA, which is, quote, "in contrast to a high record of 81 staffing triggers on November 8th, end quote.
Hundreds of National Guard troops deployed to Chicago and Portland, Oregon are being sent home. This withdrawal, however, is not a sign of peace. It is a part of a larger change to troop deployments after the Trump administration began cracking down on immigration policies in various cities with Democratic leadership. Diana Crofts Palaio of California applauded the return of all 200 California National Guard troops in Oregon, saying, quote, "Trump never should have illegally deployed our troops in the first place," end quote. Although the Californian troops are leaving, 100 Oregon National Guard troops are to remain in Portland, Oregon. Governor Tina Kotek called on the Trump administration to demobilize the remaining troops in her state, saying they had been away from their jobs and families for 50 days on an unnecessary deployment. The governor of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker, said the Trump administration does not communicate its plans with their state leaders. Although 200 Texas National Guard troops in Chicago are being sent home, 300 Illinois National Guard troops will remain in the Chicago area, with the Trump administration still threatening to federalize more. Spokesperson Matt Hill said, quote, "This is about normalizing military forces in American cities," end quote. The National Guard was also sent to Washington, D.C., which Trump claimed was necessary due to crime problems. The National Guard has been tasked with protecting federal facilities, giving special attention to those run by the United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
A resident in Indiana has been charged with voluntary manslaughter after shooting a house cleaner that went to the wrong house. Kurt Anderson shot Maria Florinda Rios Perez de Velazquez after she showed up to clean. Officers found Velazquez dead on the porch on November 5th. Anderson shot her through the front door as she was unlocking it. Maria's husband was with her during the incident, and he told media outlets that, quote, "he didn't realize she had been shot until she fell back into his arms bleeding," end quote. Anderson could be facing 10 to 30 years in prison if he is charged, but the Stand Your Ground laws are being tested. Anderson's lawyer stated that the Stand Your Ground law in Indiana protects his client. However, there was no evidence that Maria ever stepped foot in the house before she was shot. Anderson gave a statement that said, quote, "he and his wife were asleep in an upstairs bedroom when he heard a commotion at the door that grew more intense," end quote. Anderson continued to explain to investigators that he, quote, "fired one shot toward the door never opened, and he didn't announce himself or say anything before he pulled the trigger," end quote. Kurt's wife, Yoshi Anderson, admitted that her husband said, quote, that if anyone tried to break into his house, he would shoot them, end quote. There is also no evidence of forcible entry by Maria and her husband. After the incident, Anderson was held in Boone County Jail, where he was waiting for an official court hearing. Letitia James, New York Attorney General, has accused President Donald Trump and his officials of using outrageous and unethical means to bring her mortgage fraud case against her. James's lawyers urged on Monday that the case be dismissed on the grounds of misuse of federal agencies and disregard for the law and the Constitution, among other claims. Her legal team has also brought the evidence of the prosecution, suggesting that if James stepped down from her position, the charges would be dropped, which is a clear violation of DOJ policies. They've also asked for the documents from the grand jury decision that approved these charges against her to investigate misconduct.
Her indictment alleged that she misled a lender in 2020 when she obtained a mortgage to a property in Virginia. She's accused of stating that she was going to be using the property as a second home, despite allegedly renting out the property. Those close to James says that her grandniece has been living in the home while James pays for the mortgage. James's trial is currently set for January, and she has not pled guilty.
A meat cleaver brought onto a Delta Airlines plane in Portland, Oregon on Thursday is being investigated by the Transportation Safety Administration. In a statement, the agency said, quote, TSA is aware that a passenger departing Portland International Airport on Thursday passed through the security checkpoint with a meat cleaver in their carry-on bag. We take this matter very seriously, end quote. The knife was only found after the passenger boarded their flight to Salt Lake City. The item was reported to TSA by Delta Airlines staff, who turned it in once they notified the police. It is unclear why the passenger had the meat cleaver with them, and TSA said it is working to, quote, determine the circumstances surrounding this event, end quote. All passengers were deplaned and rescreened before the flight eventually took off and landed in Salt Lake City, and about 2.5 hours late. Delta Airlines apologizes to customers for the inconvenience, and no one was arrested for the event. And when we return, Zach Baer joins us with our sports update, and we'll have your first look at weather. We'll be right back.
When you think of the local lowdown, what do you think of?
Well, when I think of the local lowdown, it's the live music that we have played in the studio.
It's gotta be the laughs we shared. The memorable moments during the whole thing. Oh my God, so fun.
The local lowdown for me is the people behind the scenes, the amazing team that we have making the show.
Oh, it's gotta be exploring all sorts of genres and music I've never heard before.
Oh, easy. Going out to shows and talking to artists and getting the latest news on what they have planned for the future.
It's about these artists, man. Giving them a platform to showcase what they've worked so hard on and show their music to the community. It's all about supporting the local scene of music to keep it running for years to come. And of course, the band merch. You can't forget about the merch.
No time, just sign on the line at the post office for selective service.
Hey guys, if you're about to turn 18, you've got to register with Selective Service. It's simple. Just go down to the post office, fill out a card, and turn it in. That's all there is to it. There's no draft now. You're just adding your name to Selective Service's list in case there's a national emergency.
So if you're 18 now, selective service, you gotta get down.
Register with Selective Service. It's quick, it's easy, and it's the law.
Takes no time, just sign on the line at the post office for selective service.
We're now joined by Zach, who will be giving us our weekly sports update. What's going on in sports, Zach?
Thanks, Sam. Fredonia's women's basketball team is having an excellent start to their season, currently standing undefeated. This weekend, the team heads to Brockport on Friday and faces William Smith College on Saturday. Fredonia men's hockey picked up their first win of the season on Friday against SUNY Morrisville 2-1. The game went into overtime and then into a shootout. The Buffalo Bills defeated Tampa Bay 42-32 on Sunday. The Bills face the Houston Texans in Houston tomorrow with an 8:15 p.m. kickoff. And now I'll toss it back to Sam for our weather forecast. What do you have for us, Sam?
Thank you, Zach. Today we saw a mild winter day. We had partly sunny skies with a high of 43 degrees. As we head into the night, we will see the sun disappear into the cloudy skies with a low of 32 degrees. Tomorrow, we will see it get a bit warmer with a high of 46 degrees. We will once again have sunny skies throughout the day that will turn into cloudy skies at night, and we will have a low of 40 degrees. We may see it start to warm up this weekend as well, so stay tuned. And when we return, we will have your international headlines. We'll be right back.
To Sofia and Gabriel, mis flores, my little flowers. Even though these old knees can't follow on your adventure to the forest today, these flowers represent my love, so you can take me with you wherever you go, near or far. These stitches and threads join us together. Me, your mother, and both of you. And wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you as you bring our colorful stories to the world.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
Britain has announced significant changes to their asylum rules in response to the Labour Party taking power. They're looking to crack down on small boat migrations coming from France and after modeling their policy after Denmark, who was some of the toughest refugee rules. Reforms such as those in Denmark have sparked criticism for fostering a hostile environment for immigrants and refugees. Included in this ruling will be decreased permanent protection for refugees and living allowances. Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood expressed their want to continue to house those who need protection, but in a way that follows a full legal process. Some other provisions are temporary permits that will be reviewed every couple of years, and a 20-year application wait for those who have entered illegally. Mahmood, who is an immigrant herself, said that she has had a hard time convincing other members of her party that such rules aren't necessary. Britain's Refugee Council has been critical of the new policies and has expressed fear for those who are looking to escape unsafe countries.
Chile is headed into a tense presidential runoff after the closely fought first round vote Sunday set up a showdown between a member of the Communist Party and the ultra-conservative veteran politician, sharply polarizing the country between the political left and right. Jeanette Jara, the communist former labor administrator, received 26.7% of votes in Chile's presidential election, failing to secure a first-round victory. Jose Antonio Cast, a hard-right conservative, garnered 24.1% and advocated a law and order platform, notably against illegal immigration. Cast called for unity among right-wing factions, framing the upcoming second round as crucial for Chile's future. Jara emphasized hope and action against insecurity, proposing deportation of foreign criminals and enhancements to border security. Voter concerns revolve around past affiliations, economic issues following sluggish growth, and contrasting proposals for social safety nets versus fiscal austerity. The election's second round will take place on December 14th, with both candidates likely aiming to appeal to the center to broaden their voter basis.
This past Sunday, Poland's Foreign Minister Radosław Sikorski announced an offensive auction of Holocaust artifacts that had been canceled following the complaints of Holocaust survivors. The German auction house, known as Auction House Felsmann, was set to have a collection of over 600 items, including letters written by prisoners from German concentration camps and other perpetrator documents. The auction was set to be titled, quote, "The System of Terror," end quote. Earlier, a Holocaust survivor group called on the auction house, saying that, quote, "For victims of Nazi persecution and Holocaust survivors, this auction is a cynical and shameless undertaking that leaves them outraged and speechless. Their history and the suffering of all those persecuted and murdered by the Nazis is being exploited for commercial gain," end quote. Sikorski and German Foreign Minister Johan Wadeful made comments on the cancellation of the auction, agreeing that, quote, that such a scandal must be prevented, end quote. A listing of information about the auction was available on the Feldman website Sunday morning, but by mid-afternoon was no longer available. The House did not immediately respond to calls, emails, or text messages on Sunday, and the Committee of Survivors urged that that those artifacts belong to the families of the victims or in museums and memorial exhibits. And after the break, a look at Cher coming to host Saturday Night Live, a release teaser for The Devil Wears Prada 2, and a look at the nominations of the Game Awards. We'll be right back.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
The Oscar, Emmy, and Grammy-nominated winner Cher will return to Saturday Night Live later this year after 38 years away from the long-running NBC sketch show. Cher is set to be the musical guest on the 20th of December. On Monday, the network announced the final host and musical guest of 2025, with Wicked for Good star Ariana Grande set to host the episode alongside Cher. She previously was on the show back in 1987, 38 years ago. In that time, the only appearance of her was in a very brief cameo in 2011. Earlier this year, the Believe singer performed as part of the SNL 50, the homecoming concert, to mark the show's 50th anniversary. Other hosts helping SNL to close out the year include Melissa McCarthy, hosting on December 6th with musical guest Dijon and Challengers actor Josh O'Connor hosting the December 13 episode. Joining O'Connor as the musical guest that weekend is singer-songwriter Lily Allen, whose most recent album, West End Girl, has been making headlines. It is unknown how much Cher we will see in the performance, but an actor like Cher is sure to have a huge role. We can only hope that the actress will say her famous line, "Wagon Watusi." Saturday Night Live airs on NBC on Saturdays at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
A teaser trailer was released this past Wednesday for The Devil Wears Prada 2. The less than minute-long trailer depicts Meryl Streep as Miranda Priestley in red heels as she enters the elevator and is soon joined by Anne Hathaway as Andy Sachs, before saying to her, quote, "Took you long enough," end quote, both smirking behind black sunglasses. Madonna's 1990 song Vogue provides a soundtrack for the trailer, tipping to the fact that many have believed that the fictional Runway magazine is based on Vogue and Miranda's character, inspired by the famed former top editor Anna Wintour. Returning alongside Streep and Hathaway are Emily Blunt, Stanley Tucci, Tracy Toms, and many new actors have joined as well. The sequel to the 2006 hit film is set to be in theaters May 1st, 2026.
The Game Awards, the annual award ceremony honoring achievements in the video game industry, has revealed their list of this year's nominees, and one particular video game that is sweeping categories. Clair Obscur Expedition 33, a 2025 role-playing video game developed by French studio Sandfall Interactive, has gathered a whopping 12 nominations, the most ever collected by a single game in the ceremony's history. In addition to the Game of the Year, it is also Best It's also up for Best Direction, Best Narrative, Best Art Direction, Best Score in Music, Best Audio, Best Independent Game, Best Debut Independent Game, Best RPG, and 3 of its actors are nominated for Best Performance, and a number of other games also have earned quite a few nominations, such as Death Stranding 2 with 7 nominations, Hades 2 with 6, Hollow Knight Silksong with 5, and Ghost of Yote also with 7. The Game Awards ceremony will be on broadcast digitally on December 11th, 2025 at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and we will find out all the winners as well as see the usual parade of video game trailers, commercials, musical guests, possibly Muppets, and more. And I'll now toss it to Jenna one more time tonight for the end of the weekend weather. How does it look, Jenna?
Thank you, Sam. On Friday, we'll see cloudy skies throughout the day with a high of 49 degrees. Throughout the day, we may also feel some strong winds as well. As we head into the night, we will continue to see these clouds and wind as we drop down to a low of 35 degrees with a 49% chance of rain and some possible snow. Saturday, the sun will come back out with a partly cloudy skies and a high of 45 degrees. We will continue to see those winds throughout the day. And as we head into the night, we will see those clouds come back as we drop down to a low of 36 degrees. And on Sunday, we will see the same with sunny skies in the morning and an afternoon with a high of 50 degrees. The wind will stay around, and at night we will once again get out those cloudy skies with a low of 41 degrees. And that's all we have for your weekend weather.
Thank you so much, Jenna. And that does it for News 11 this semester. Thank you to our behind-the-scenes crew for a great semester. We'll be back next year.
And as always, thank you to everyone watching at home. Have a great night and happy holidays.